I think going back, I love how creative you guys are. Like when I've worked with you guys in the past, and I've been a part of y'all's
Uh-huh.
conferences, online conferences, and stuff like that, and then got to see you guys firsthand in person when I was working with Bakari, a mutual
Right.
friend of ours. Um, redoing that school, and how you guys approach uh, teaching with that creative mindset. I think it was something that I definitely didn't grow up with. That it would have definitely made me more interested in school if you guys were more like there were more people like you guys around. I definitely was not a good student growing up.
Same. I
Yeah.
was I was a horrible student.
Yeah. What? So then, if you were a horrible student, what made you feel like you needed to be where you are today? Then.
I think it was more of the fact of, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it and why you get into education. And everyone gets into education for a different reason and a purpose. I
Hmm.
mean, my upbringing was horrible. I was abused. I was homeless. I was neglected. But I had two constants in my life. I always go to school, no matter what. If you're a child in the United States, you're going to school, no matter what. And so that was something that was consistent wherever I went. Looked a little different, but it was always there. And then Jesus was the other component that was always there. So um, I wasn't the best of students, but I was a good kid. Like I wasn't a bad kid, and that was because I felt some type of respect from those teachers and from the school building that it was just
Hmm.
always there, something that I was lacking in my life. And so um, when I became of age, I just decided, you know what, I can't be Jesus, so I'm going to become a teacher because that's what I know and that's what I'm
Hmm.
excited about. And it was the idea of being able to give back and to do that, something that I mean, I thought school was boring growing up. I did not think it was fun.
Same.
And I took that servanthood and I found a different purpose with that to say, if I were a kid sitting in the classroom, what would I want? Well, I would want a teacher to talk to me like some of my teachers did. I want them to have conversations with me. I would want them to play with me at recess. I would want them to make learning as fun as possible for me instead of just sit and do worksheets over and over and over again. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that's what really drove me. It was kind of what I was lacking as a kid. And I wanted to provide that for children everywhere, and teachers too. It's not that hard. You're an artist yourself. I'm a musician. I love playing music. I was an athlete, and so I think anybody can actually be a teacher if you go in there and you're wanting to serve kids,
Mhm.
but you're
Yeah.
using your gifts and talents to do that, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's definitely interesting that you were aware of that in yourself, and you didn't denounce, education. Like
Right.
some people might kind of look at how they were brought up and maybe certain school system and be like, that didn't work for me. Why do I need to be a part of something that didn't really work for me? And you
Yeah.
definitely took it upon yourself to be like, well, we can change it. Um,
And that's what we're
and
trying to do.
yeah, yeah, you guys definitely have. I think that you guys are using your platform really well. If people aren't familiar with Get Your Teach On, what's some background on Get Your Teach On?
Yeah, so Get Your Teach On essentially is, we really want to provide teachers with ways to have strategic growth in their classroom, but in a
Hmm.
way that is unique to them. And that's exactly what we've kind of been talking about. And so, all of the professional development that I ever went to as an educator, it's very similar to what we were talking about with students in the classroom. It was something that I had to go to. And to be honest with you, I would leave halfway through, or I would go to 10 minutes and then go somewhere else and actually do my lesson plans or the things that my kids needed, because just none of it spoke to me. None of it was challenging me to do things that made me
Hmm.
uncomfortable, or to think in different ways, or to build my classroom around creating an experience for students. And I
Mm.
knew that's what kids needed, and that's how I taught. And so all of these professional developments were just, standards driven. And ours is standards driven as well, but we really focus on creating an environment that kids want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Not, so we don't want school to be a place they have to be. We want them to want to go to school. And so we can't do that with just standards alone. And not only that, not all kids, are made for college, and not all kids are going to fit in this box called standards. And so much of what we do is serving our students and defining their purpose as
Yeah.
well. And so we said, in order to do that, we have to educate kids in different ways. We have to expose them to art and to music and to STEM and engineering and to science and math and all of the things, because And somewhere in there, I want them to find their interest,
Right.
their go-to
Right.
thing, because that's what's going to drive them. And that'll change as they grow and as they develop. And so we said, there's just not a professional development that speaks to this or that encourages this or that provides resources. And so we started Get Your Teach On, and we have a team of the most dynamic educators who are all very unique and different. Not
Mm-hmm.
one of us teaches the same way, but we're all very successful with our students and seeing growth and helping students
Right.
find their purpose. And so it's really cool because at Get Your Teach On, educators get to come and be the student for the day. And we want to provide that experience for educators where they leave feeling empowered, inspired, motivated, loving what they do, because that is going to have a direct impact on how they teach. And when they have that experience, they want to go back and provide that same experience that
Mm-hmm.
they just had for their
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what Get Your Teach On is all about, and the mission and what we're trying to do, just to again reignite a fire for teachers, make them feel seen, heard, valued, but also give them a community of people that they're surrounded with that will just
Mm-hmm.
love on them and celebrate them and cheer them on in
Yeah.
this really difficult profession, because it's
Mhm.
a
It's
really
hard.
hard profession. I mean, especially, it's always been hard, but especially now that we're navigating this pandemic. And so just being there to serve teachers, that's really our focus.